So we're going to make a very interesting application. It's not going to be smooth. As a warning, you will see you're going to see a lot of pitfalls and things that you get stuck at and how to work around them. So this is a little bit more complicated application I'm trying to make now. There will be two screens, different colors. You click on a button and goes to the other screen. For distinction, they have different colors. I click on it and go back to the first one. If I type something here, I click on it, when it goes to the yellow screen, whatever I type in is available. So your user could type something in or select from a drop down box, make a selection, put it in entry, click on a button, go to another screen. You know what the user typed in and selected, and you can perform some operation and do display appropriate screen or data. So that's the basic structure that's used a lot in iOS application, and that's the application I'm gonna try to make. So the very first step is to create an application, file new project. And in it, I'm gonna create an empty application. It's gonna be blank canvas to work with. Next, I'm gonna call it two views. Or actually it could be more than two, so we'll call it multi-view. Core data, I'm not gonna use. You see, this is one of the templates that uses core data. I'm gonna check it just in case we wanna go into a tutorial on that. Use automatic reference counting. Yes, that's very useful. Include unit tests. Not gonna get into it. Next, create a local Git repository. Yes, let's do that. Create. So at this point I have a very basic application. It does nothing. If I run it, you will see that it's gonna basically there's nothing there. There's not even a nib file. So first step is for us to create two nib files, and we're going to proceed in this order. Also, I'm going to try to lay down the work methods for you, or the work flow. Before you can click on a button on one view and go to another, the other one needs to exist. So first step is we're gonna create two views, and we are going to create buttons on them, wire them up so there's a click event but blank. Then we're going to start with loading the first view. Then we click on a button on the first view, go to the second view. So if those things don't exist in this sequence, you're not going to be able to program. So first of all, creating two nib files. New file. Okay, Objective-C class. No. User interface, storyboard, view. Empty window application. We're going to create a view. Device, iPhone or iPad. You have to do both of them if you are trying to make an application that'll work in iPad or iPhone. We'll get into it later, but if you run an iPhone application on an iPad, it looks like a little window, little iPhone within an iPad. View 1, I'm just going to call it view 1. Create. There you go. Now see, I made a mistake. I just have the nib file. I do not have the .m and .h file going along with it, so I'm going to have to delete it. Move to trash. You know what that is, right? In a previous tutorial, move to trash is going to delete that from the file system. Right click again, create a new file. View, next, iPhone, next, and what am I doing wrong here? Okay, so you see we have run into a situation where I create the main window, but there is no file associated with it. So let's try another technique that I have discovered, but it's not mention some here. We're going to create the source code first. I think there's a template here. We go to new file and we go to Cocoa Touch, Objective-C class, and here we go. So I'm going to say view 1. So this is a new fresh technique for you. It's going to inherit from UI view. And you see it says with zib for user interface. So one of them, is UI view controller subclass. Targeted for iPad. We'll also create one for iPad and iPhone, but we're not gonna get into it. With the zib or user interface. And see what that'll do for us. Multi-view create. Here we go. View 1 view controller zib. And if I click on it, I got a little skeleton I can work with, and I got the .m file that appropriately inherits from UI view controller, and I have the .m file. So that's the technique. Most of the tutorials you will see out there will go the other way. They'll create the empty window, and then just like I try to do in the beginning and show you what problems you can run into. Now we're gonna quickly create the second one. File, new file, and view 2. View 1 controller. Now view 2. Everything else stays the same. Now I have, okay, the other one called view 2. The first one was view. So I ran into a little situation over here. What did I do wrong there? Let's try one again. And delete that one. I want view 1 and not the view controller. So these are things that you will face when you actually, so I'm trying to show you that. View 1 Objective-C class. Next. View 1, this and that. There you go. Okay, this is view 1 is right, view 2 is like this. There you go. See, that's a little quirk of the, it was trying to show me the XML behind this. I had to click on the other file, then that file, and then I see the right one. So you see the things you might, pitfalls for you might run into. Now what I'm going to do is I want to edit this file right here, so it'll load the view 1. So that's, now the things, step number 1 is that we're going to find the app delegate.h, and in here we're going to find view controller view 1. We're going to call it view 1. We're going to declare a property. And fix these errors. Unknown type view 1. So we're gonna have, you see, we're gonna have to tell it that there is a view 1 type. To fix that error, I gotta say add class. There is a class coming view 1. Don't complain about it. It's in there somewhere. So we're gonna stop complaining. Add class view 1, and we know that there is a class called view 1 right there. So that's technique number 1. Number 2 is we do that, and then we open this up. Actually, why don't we do this? We open up the associated editors. We have them side by side. Now, it's still complaining about it over here. So we're gonna have to see, along with other synthesizers, we're gonna have to say add synthesize view 1. So add class 1 property 2 synthesize 3 and is lowercase, so okay, so now we are having this issue over here saying that, it's complaining about view 1 isn't there. So let's try import. We have to import. Is there a view 1 h? Will that solve the problem? Yes, it did. So there you go. You gotta do all that. What did we do? Let's recap so far. Add class 1. Add class view 1. A class is coming, don't complain about it. Then we did a property on view 1. Then we gotta import view 1h. So then synthesize view 1. So these are all the things that put it together. Now that we have that, I am going to shut this thing down for a second, and then I'm going to look at what I did so far. Why don't I also get rid of .h file so we can see it? Self.window, UI lock it with frame, UI screen, main screen, bounce. So that's good. It's there in every application. Self.view1. Now I have view1 because I have defined it up there. View1, capital, you see, just mind the capitals in lowercase, the variable or in the actual class. Now we're gonna use the capital view1, the actual class, allocate init with name, the name of the nib file view1, which we have defined right there. So mind this, where is it uppercase? I'm using the class, and where lowercase, where I'm using the variable I have synthesized on that view1 class. That's one. A lot of people get confused over it. So don't. If you have your doubts, look for it here. That what's going wrong. Self.window.root view controller is self.view1. Self.window make any visible. Return yes, and let's see if it'll fire up. Well, we're not going to be able to tell because we got an error here. Because it's we got to fix that error. Reason: could not load nib in bundle with name view1. So it's not able to load that. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Go back in here, go back to the M file. Okay, will that be the capital one? Name of the class instead of the name of the variable. And yes, so you see the troubleshooting procedure. That's what's good. Now, is this the right one? I'm going to change the color on it and put a button on it saying go to view 2. So let's do that. Nib file. I'm going to try to change the color on it. Debugger I don't need at this moment. Scroll up, drag it here, open the property inspector, do this, and I'm just at the view. Change the background color of the view. No, just put a button on it. Let's say round rectangular button, and I'm gonna change its, instead of saying button 1, I'm gonna say go to button 2, go to view 2, default, go to, and come in here. You just have to click here, then there, then go to view and run it again. This time see if I see the button go to view. Yeah, so now I have loaded it in. I'm not gonna bother changing the color because the button will tell me where I am. Go to view 1 or go to view 2. Or I might to see how to change the properties. So basically at this point I'm ready to go to view 2 and drag a button, a round rectangular button which says go to view 2. Now what I want to do is wire it up to have a click event on it. So what do I need? I need this. I need to click here, get rid of that. Click on this one to open the associated editor. Open the utility manager if that's not open, and find the connections manager. Touch up inside. Drag that up here somewhere. Not doing it. Weird thing happened. See, now it's working. What I did was I had to close this. I went here, then I went over there, clicked around. I had to jerk it a little bit to get it to work. Then came back to view 1, open the associated editor. See, now even though I have to click on it again to get that going. So you have to, if you run into this, you have to click on it a little bit, get it to work. View 1, but basically this has to be open. View associated editor has to be open. Touch up inside. As I do that, you see a blue screen opens up. Go to view 2 on click. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Now that I have this setup open, I'm going to go over here. So I have the view 2, view2.h. Click on this button again. So I see that one. Touch up inside, drag it here. So until I see the insert action, go to view 1 on click. Now I'm going to open the view2.m, and I have the signature here. I have the implementation of that method here. View1.m, I have the signature here. I have the implementation over here. Only they are blank. We're going to fill in the blanks. So right here, I want to fill in the blanks. Now I don't need this one right here, and I don't need this one. So I'm going to get rid of this at this point. I'm just going to be typing in code to do something here, to go to view 2. And while we go to view 2, we also want to animate it a little bit. So let's do these 2 click buttons. Okay, so I had to do a number of things. First of all, I'm in view 1. So I have view 1 M and H. In H, I gotta import view 2 H, and you define a property view 2 star view 2. Then I want to synthesize the view 2. Then I'm ready to type in this code. The reason for this code is that I'm going to be going back and forth between view 1 and view 2 a lot. So I'm going to say, if view 2, very first time, view 2 is not going to exist. So I'm going to make a check. So I don't want to do it over and over again. If view 2 is nil, then I want to alloc init with nib view 2 bundle nil. And the second time I don't want to do this. Secondly, I want to type all this code. UI view transition with view. Which one? Self.view, duration is 0.5. Options are UI view animation option transition flip from right. That's like a enum. Pipe means also. UI view animation options layout subviews. As you type, you will see the code completion helping you. Otherwise, you just copy and paste it in there. Pipe means also. UI view animation options allow animation content. Animation, and these are inline functions. So self view add sub view to at this point, do this to the view, add view 2, completion is equal to null. So all this code, you basically copy and paste. The only thing changing is view 2 for you every time is different. If you have a view named my view 2, my view 3, Sam's view or John's view or whatever, so that's what will be changing, and everything else you can just copy and paste. Basically, actually you can copy and paste this whole block of code, changing only view 2 mind the upper and lower case, and everything else that I explained a minute before. So if I run this application, I should see a screen. Go to view 2. I click on it. I go to view 2. This also says go to view 2. I think I have a mistake here. I'm gonna click here and go back to the utility inspector. Come back here. Try to find where I call you. Go to view 1. That should be go to view 1. Run it again. Go to view 1. Go to view 2. And still not right. I think if I click there, I have to click here, then run it. See, now it took. You see, my cursor was still there even though I clicked there. It did not take. So these are little things that you saw as you are going to try to work on it, you're going to see them and get frustrated. So I'm trying to show you that don't get frustrated. Just try as I did, and also I show you some of the pitfalls that you will see. Now I'm going to fix the go to view 1 so we can go flip back to it. So now I'm in view 2.m, and all I had to do was I'm going to shut all this down. Header, we don't need to do anything in the header. We only need to implement methods here, and basically you can copy and paste all this. And all we are saying is remove the super view, which will remove the view 2, and the view 1 will become visible automatically. So there's no mention of view 1 at all in here. So that's all it is. We're going to transition with this animation, with these properties, remove from super view, run, go to view 2, go to view 1. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a text box right there and see how we can, when we go here to go view 1, wherever the user types in that text box is available, and in that we'll look at NS user defaults by saving information and retrieving information. So what I need right here is I want to open this, I want to open that, I want to drag it a little bit here, I want to open the associated editor, drag a text box up here, and go to the connections inspector. I'm going to create a new referencing outlet for it. Okay, so it's doing the same thing again. So I'm going to close this. This time you can watch it. I'm going to close here, come back here, come back here, come back, click here, and see if it'll work. Yeah, you see what happened? It just started working all by itself. Maybe something was wrong. I had to do it twice. Okay, I'm going to call it my text box. So now I have a property to associate with. Okay, so next what I'm going to go is I am going to open the view1.m, and before I transition, if everything went okay, I'm going to create a user default saying, my text box, was it not? My text box, set object, store txt, stored value, and well, that's not true. It is called my text box. Okay, even though the connections did create a property, I still have to synthesize that. My text box. Now I can use that my text box right there. This is how you can use the NS user default, standard user default, set object, my text box, whatever's the text of it, and store it in there as a key text box so I can get it again. So now what I want to do on the other side is that in view 2 I want to pick it up. So there's a function called view did appear. It's already a built-in function of UI view controller. So you just want to copy and paste that much in there, and in it I want to just and it's logged, view did appear, and I pull it back, a string stored value from NS user defaults object for key my text box, and it'll pull it back and store it in stored value. So now I can print out stored value, and I am going to run it. So I'm going to type B in here, go to view 2. You see as soon as it did that, B appeared. As soon as the view 1 appeared, it pulled the value back out. So that's how you can transfer values from one view to another and flip. And one thing I want to emphasize over here is that it wasn't smooth. There were a lot of issues there. A lot of people just stop there and give up, say, hey, I'm done, this isn't going to work. But there were a lot of stumbling blocks, some pitfalls, and I try to show them to you. I also have a weekend class on Saturdays where you can come in and we talk about all these issues that you might be having and stuck at. But it's not going to be easy or without any pitfalls or hurdles, but I try to show them to you. Hopefully, you will see that once you know these things, then it becomes easy. Thanks.